Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to Packrat's Shack. I am Packy. If you are new to my channel, welcome and please continue to visit. Those of you who keep up with me are getting to know me by my in-depth, long videos showing everything I do from creating for my booth to upgrading interior spaces. I have fun with my daughter who has helped me build this business. This is my series of overviews. Keep in mind, if you want to catch the complete transformations, you can also check out the original versions. Welcome to Packy's shortened version. In this episode, we are recapping on the last dining set I refinished, and this set took so long, it aired in 2 separate episodes. Then I got to thinking there was so much time between that the people would not remember what it originally looked like, and others who may only view Part B would never have seen how bad it started out as. This set was in a non-climate control storage for so long that it had melty, blistering, traveling polyurethane. And traveling meaning it was thicker in some areas and thinner in others depending on where the bottom of the furniture was at the time it was stacked and stored. Some areas you didn't have to scrape hardly at all. Other areas you needed to scrape it like 10 or 12 times before you got down. Needless to say, the finish was very uneven, besides just all of the dirt and animal unknowns that were all over it. So, of course, after a thorough deep cleaning, I got straight to sanding and scraping. I used 80 to 120 grit sandpaper, and this stage took well over 60 hours to accomplish. And you only got to see like a minute of all of this. I took a break from all of this sanding and scraping to let my fingertips heal a wee bit, to work in Big Mama's butter to the complete underside of this table. This is to condition the wood and to get the glides working smoothly for the leaves. Then there's no rest because I got to do it all over again. Yay! That first run through just got to the worst of it. There is still some finish in the depths of the spindles, and all the scraped areas need sanded smooth. This phase took close to 55 hours, but really made a visual difference. You can see the difference I'm referring to in these comparison pictures of the first and second sanding phases. In this phase, I used 120 to 180 grit. Now we're to the third phase of sanding, which is where Part B picked up. I used 220 to 300 grit to try to smooth out everything as evenly as possible. These sanding pads are probably so used they might even be a finer grit than that. During this phase, I also took the time to clean the pieces as I went and to make any repairs needed. Some wood filler was put on prior to the sanding, and some areas were glued and clamped as I came to them again. Now that everything looks nice and smooth and completely raw, it's time to stain. So I do several test samples on the underneath of one of the chairs. 3 of these stains were very close to matching a drawer provided by the clients that belonged to a matching hutch. After a comparison to that, the clients chose fruitwood. I do one last debris check with the tack cloth before starting the staining process. I started on the table, then moved to the chairs. As I'm working through, I notice the stain is not setting in evenly on the tabletop. All I can do is continue my staining, and then when the tabletop is all dry, I can go back and resand the whole thing down again to start over. I moved down to the 120 grit for several passes, then did a couple passes at 180 grit, and then I finished it up with the 220 grit. Then I'm off to polyurethaning everything, and I'm using the Minwax polyurethane spray in warm satin, as well as the Minwax poly wipe-on in warm satin. I apply several coats to everything, and in between the coats of spray I knock off any caught debris with a fine M3 finishing pad. Between the coats of the wipe-on poly, I use 800 grit wet dry sandpaper, and I just let it glide gently across the surface to knock off any debris. And of course, every time I'm cleaning with a tack cloth before putting on the next layer of poly. And now we're to the reveal. Let's remember what we started with. And now look at what we have. As always, thank you so much for watching and hanging in there with me. Thank you to all of the support from my followers. You know I can't do this without you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Everyone stay safe out there.